Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the James and Dame Show. We are continuing our reign of tier lists with running backs. And before we get started, I just want to thank everyone who's been so supportive of our last few videos. Really appreciate the support we've been getting. I'd love to see the numbers go up. So exciting. But we appreciate all of the support we've been getting. So if you like what we're doing, like the video, drop a comment if you want to shit on us for how bad our takes are. And if you like the recurring content, maybe subscribe. I don't know. I mean, you're already watching anyways, so might as well. But that being said, let's get into some ranking. Let's start the controversy because you know how we are. You got anyone specifically you want to start with, or you just want to go down the line?
I mean, I have everything in alphabetical order, so I'm just kind of going down the list. Aaron Jones is the first one.
This is true. This is the running back tier list is one that I think is going to be interesting because I feel like age is going to play more of a factor than any of the past tier lists.
Yes.
Just because that's kind of how the running back position is. Aaron Jones is a man who's getting up there in age. He's one of the more seasoned veterans. That's part of the reason why the Packers moved on from Aaron Jones to get Josh Jacobs. Was Josh Jacobs is 25 and Aaron Jones is approaching 30.
I think so, yeah.
So he's aging. But with that being said, I still think he's one of the more underrated running backs in the league. I'm going to advocate for him at a B.
Only because my experience with Aaron Jones, I probably put him in A, but I can settle for a B right now.
Oh, I mean, we could discuss as to A or B. I think B because of age and because of, I don't know. I feel like there might be people above him. We could throw him at B for now.
Maybe for right now we'll leave him at B, but
we'll see.
He's been very consistent when it comes to like playoffs and everything. So it's one of those. He's a dark horse.
He is a dark horse. He's one of the more underrated running backs in the league, and I want to give him his props. But it's also like, again, he is getting old. He's had some injury concerns, I think, the past couple of years, hasn't he?
Maybe a couple, but nothing too severe right now.
Yeah, nothing too severe. But again, I like him. I don't like that he went to the Vikings, but that's just because I don't like the Vikings. Moving on. I'll come back to him. Alvin Kamara, someone who used to be really good, but I think has kind of gotten a little overrated the past couple of years.
I'm a advocate for B or C on this one, mostly because he's been pretty good for most of his career. Like you said, last couple of years it's been kind of a little downward spiral a little bit. It also is partially blame on the Saints organization. So I don't know. I'll put him as a B for right now, but that's subject to change. Specifically with him.
Yeah,
he's a great running back. It's just
he's a great receiving back. He's kind of dipped in like the running back production.
Yeah.
And he's had, as well as Aaron Jones, he's getting up there in age, but I know he's had injury issues and had trouble staying on the field. So he also doesn't play as many downs as Aaron Jones does. So he's kind of just like, even though most people probably view him as higher than Aaron Jones, I think he's like a half tier below. So that's me.
Bijan Robinson.
That's so hard to judge because he looked so good, but he was not used right, and we know that.
He's also young.
He's coming off of a 1 year. It was his first year. It's B or C, and does it like I want him to be in B because I think he has that potential, but did we see enough out of him to, going into this season, rank him as a B tier running back?
I'd say give him another year, so probably a C.
C for now. Yeah. I think that's fair.
With how we're ranking these right now, probably a C.
I think
he was just a rookie, so we'll give him another year. And an actual coach that will use him.
Yeah, Arthur Smith. We'll give him an asterisk and say Arthur Smith,
Yeah. Blake Corum, he was just drafted.
Yeah, so he's an incoming rookie out of Michigan. He was one of those people that I loved to watch play, and he runs really angry. Not quite Isaiah Pacheco-like, but
he's a good running back.
I'm excited to see him play. And then he went to the Rams, and I'm like, oh, he might do really well there.
With that system, he might flourish there.
Yeah, as a 1-2 with Kyron.
That's a good system to be put in.
Yeah. He might, for me, be the higher end of rookie running backs. I assume we're doing kind of the same thing we did with receivers, where they're in the C to F range.
Yeah, they can't go any higher. This might be the one running back I might put up high.
Yeah, I would say he would be my advocate for C as a rookie.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
Breece Hall. That's a dilemma because when he's healthy, he's like almost A tier.
Yeah.
But
when he's injured, he's
had injury issues.
Yeah.
I feel like I won't say A because of the injuries and that stuff, and it took a little bit for him to come back, but I'm leaning kind of towards a B tier until he can have a healthy season and perform at the same level he had his rookie year. I could see down to a C as well with the injuries. Obviously, that's, again, a big part of the concern. That's the deal with running backs. I don't know. I want to know where you're leaning, but I'm thinking maybe like a low end B.
That's the thing. I just haven't seen Breece Hall play a whole lot to determine where I would put him. He's one of those running backs where he can be good, and I know he's good. It's just I haven't seen enough of him to determine where he is. I can agree on a B, but with, like you said, with the injury concerns and everything, I don't know where I'd put him. I wouldn't put him as an A right now.
I don't know.
He's like a low end B. I agree.
Yeah, he's fringe just with the injuries, but I'm super excited to see what the Jets do with him, with a 1-2 combo of Braylon Allen there too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Jets could be so good. Brian Robinson. He's had a couple good years. Mm-hmm. He's been like solid, but solid is not good.
Good. I was gonna say like a C tier for him.
Yeah, as much as like I kind of like him. He's like C to D. I don't know if I want it. I could do C for now and come back, but
like we said for running backs and QBs, we're doing average, like their career. Obviously, recency bias will affect a lot of this stuff, and for the fact that people will have breakout years here and there, or consistency. So we don't know. So we'll fix it maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Depends on how this list looks. I mean, so far it looks not terrible right now, but I can see a few that might be throwing us for a loop.
We are getting that bell curve.
DeAndre Swift.
Oh, are we skipping Mr. S tier?
Oh, I forgot. I already put him in S tier.
That's why
Christian McCaffrey is S tier.
Yeah, that's why when we started, I was like, do we want to start with Aaron Jones or do we want to acknowledge the best guy here? And
I was like, Aaron Jones.
Yeah. So Christian McCaffrey, obviously S. He's the most dynamic receiving back. He alone could be a receiver alone, but then you can also hand him the ball and he's still one of, if not, he's like a top 3 running back in the run game. And then you add the receiving game on top of that. He is elite. Age doesn't apply to him. He's been healthy the past couple years. Past couple years.
It's been every other year he's been injured, I've noticed. So
he-
theoretically this year he'll be injured.
Well, because he's been with the 49ers 2 years, well, like 1.5 years. He was healthy he's been healthy with the 49ers. I think he was injured when he was on the Panthers, but I think he came back and then they traded him, I think.
Yeah, it was every other year when he was with the Panthers.
Yeah, but
No, it's not.
Panthers is also a garbage organization, so I can understand why they would struggle to keep him healthy.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, DeAndre Swift.
I like Swift, and he's one of those guys that I wanted to turn out to be like
The guy.
he was one that I was like, he's gonna be a good guy, and usually have a good track record, but he's kind of been a little underwhelming. He's still good. The question is he worthy of a B? Because he's not an A tier. Does he fit on that realm with, well, again, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, but again, Aaron Jones is like a fringe A. So Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, does he fit with them? I think with Alvin there, you could argue it.
I was going to say B. Only because I wouldn't put him any higher or lower. If we're talking about the first half of this last season, then A tier. If it was the entire season from last year, B or C.
But it's also, the Eagles had an entire collapse, and that was visible beyond
just the
game.
Quarterback.
Yeah, it was
It was everybody. Coaching was just terrible.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm going to lean with a B right now because I know he's a good running back. We'll see about that.
See how he does in Chicago.
David Montgomery. Ooh.
See, that's an interesting one because he did well this last year. Who's he with? The Bears. Mm-hmm. He went through the classic like circle of life, and as a Chicago Bears running back, you're a backup. The person in front of you falls off, so you come in, look really good. Mm-hmm. Then they try and start you for a bit, and then you kind of dip down in production, and then you get replaced by the person who was
behind you.
Yeah, was you. But then he went to the Lions, and he looked pretty good. Is he still with the? Did he return to the Lions? Or
yeah, he's still with the Lions.
Okay.
I am going to argue this. I think we're going to do two at once. Gibbs at A and Montgomery at B.
Interesting.
Gibbs is a really good running back.
He is a really good running back. I only say interesting for one reason, and that is because, and I could see running backs being the exception, but prior to this, 1 year players we had never ranked above B, and that includes C.J. Stroud and Puka Nacua.
This is true. Well, running backs, there's only so many of them.
And
so that's the difficult part.
Really thrive on the young side.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with him right now, I don't know. I'd put him at A.
Yeah.
With how great he was his first year.
That's a yeah. I could see. I'll put him there for now. Him there, but Aaron Jones not there right now. Also is weird to me. But we'll put him there for now and come back to it. Mm-hmm. Montgomery, we'll put it. I could see a B right now. We'll come back and look at it. With how things shake out, but he's like, I mean, he's old. He's getting older. He was impressive some weeks, but he kind of consistency was a little shaky, and that's also kind of how his career has been. But
like we said, we could adjust.
Derrick Henry, at least an A. Has to be at least an A, because he's gotten over 1,000 yards. How many times?
True.
He is, even though he's older and maybe not like the best running back in the league anymore.
He's still consistent.
He still has to be a top 3.
I'm cool with that.
So it'd be A. He could argue for S.
Not right now. With how last year has gone, probably not.
Yeah, it's difficult to judge though, because the offense kind of took a step back last year. But I'm fine leaving him at A for now. Achan, injuries, man.
Yeah, injuries killed him.
He looked so good, but then he got injured, and then he came back, and he got injured again. And I think even if he was healthy all year, I don't think he would get the exception of passing B. I kind of, with Bijan in C, I feel like we could put him in C just because of injuries. He also didn't look quite like himself coming back from that first injury.
True.
So
I can agree with a C for right now. For right now.
We'll have to see how he does this year, but I don't... It's hard to rank him above a C right now. Zeke, man, how the mighty have fallen.
D.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's really bad right now.
He's not been great. He's gonna bring a veteran presence back to Dallas in the running back room, but
is he gonna be any good? No.
They don't really have anyone, do they?
No, because they didn't do anything in the offseason. They're so surprised that they didn't get anybody.
That'll be interesting. Gus Edwards.
He's kind of a meh for me. He wasn't that.
So
great.
He was interesting because he was always viewed as the number 2 to J.K. Dobbins, but J.K. Dobbins couldn't stay healthy. Gus Edwards also struggled to stay healthy, but not to the extent that J.K. Dobbins
was,
which was season-ending injuries every year. Gus Edwards was season-ending injuries like every other year. But he's a very reliable power back. I think he actually could flourish in that Harbaugh offense down in LA. Especially as he's going to be he's going to be the feature back and kind of a more power run scheme. No, I'm not advocating for him super high. This is me advocating for him as a C.
Yeah, I was going to say C is the highest I'll go for him. Because
him around Robinson seems okay.
Yeah, with who he's around right now, it's fine. It's just he wasn't very.
I mean, again,
wow, look at this guy.
No, he wasn't like super. But again, he's just his role is just reliable running back.
Yeah,
and I think that when he was healthy, he was that. He was a guy you could lean on. They started J.K. Dobbins because he was supposed to be the big flashy guy, and he just couldn't stay healthy.
Sure.
Well, you see, Pacheco, A at the least.
Yeah, I was
contention for S.
I wouldn't say contending for S right now. He's definitely up there. He's definitely top 5. I just don't. Pacheco is an interesting case. He's become like a receiver, kind of. Have you not seen some of the play schemes that he's been thrown into?
No, I just know that he runs really angry and he's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I know he's fun to watch and everything. I know he's good. It's just here and there he becomes a receiver, and that's just because Mahomes didn't really have any receivers last year.
It's like you're on the Chiefs. You're gonna have to know how to catch the ball. And,
true.
I mean, being able to do that, I think, only adds to his value. But
fair.
I mean, as a running back, I mean, I can see A for now. We'll see.
We'll put A.
James Conner. Oh, he's so like wishy-washy because he was good for the Steelers, then he wasn't so good for the Steelers, then he was okay for the Cardinals, then he wasn't, but then he was good.
And then he wasn't.
He's like had such a range, and obviously it's like he was on bad offenses, so it's hard to judge that. He can be sometimes up to a B.
He's a solid C for me.
He's like, a C to D tier, and it's the inconsistency that kind of
it ruins his momentum.
D. I could throw him in C, and so we could see what happens.
Mr. James
Cook. He's developed pretty well. Come a pretty far way from where he was as a rookie, because as a rookie he was like, this guy can't hold on to the ball, but he's kind of developed into that scheme pretty well. He's flourished in the passing game. I hesitate to put him in A, but I think
No, he's not an A.
B.
B is like the highest I'll go with him.
Because I mean, it's the Bills. They passed.
It is the Bills,
but I think he's flourished. And I think he's the RB1 for them going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can make a stake. We'll just see how far he can go in that scheme. But I think he's a pretty good running back.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams.
I don't know about this way.
This is one,
I didn't watch much of Denver, so I can't say much.
This is one where it's like I think it was his rookie year. He looked really good.
He kind of fell off this last season.
No, yeah, this last season he didn't look as interesting, and he kind of looked like he would get passed by Jaleel McLaughlin. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards like a D for him.
Yeah, I was not going to put him up any higher. He was not very good. He was kind of bad.
Yeah, he was.
He was also on the Broncos offense with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson going at each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
It was just.
It's one of those things.
Messy team. Jaylen Warren. He's such an enigma to me. I didn't used to think anything of him because I liked Najee, but then, Jalen started playing more and playing better than Najee, and I was like, oh, but I don't know how good it's hard to judge how good he really is.
Yes. How many years has he played? He's played
2 or 3.
2. He's played a couple years at the least.
I think it's 2. He's just stumper.
I'm gonna argue for a C, mostly because he's not the starter, and he isn't like one of those frontline running backs. Because when you look at the tier list we have already, McCaffrey, Pacheco, Henry, Gibbs, Jones, Kamara, Hall, Swift, Montgomery, Cook, he wouldn't be up there, I feel like.
It'd be arguing for like a lower end B, like around the Breece Hall. Honestly, to me, the lower end B's kind of look like Breece Hall and Alvin Kamara. But I don't know.
I'm gonna say C.
I'm gonna say C as well. I wasn't sure if he was if he could make an argument for B tier.
He's not on the level of those guys.
Him being with James Conner and Gus Edwards, though, I feel okay with.
He's definitely in their threshold.
Joe Mixon.
He's an interesting one. He's going to Houston.
He's
He was on the Bengals.
He was on the Bengals.
He was pretty good up until the last third of the season, I believe. Well, he was also injured, so I can't say anything.
He was someone who was he was good young. He kind of dipped in production a little bit, but then he came back a little bit.
Mm-hmm. He had a curve.
He had a inverse
curve.
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like he could flourish in Houston. It's just how they're going to use him is what I'm concerned about. So I can argue a B tier for him.
I was going to say he kind of, through his career, has been in the range of A to C. And I think
a B is pretty reasonable for him.
B's...
With who we have up here in S and A right now, he's not up there.
No, especially currently. Jonathan Taylor, on the other hand, I will argue should be at least an A.
It's just I don't know. Maybe it's just the contract thing that just gives me a bad taste in my mouth with him. Yeah.
I think A. I would say A.
I can settle for an A.
Because I don't feel good putting him lower, and I don't think he's done enough. He's had 2 good seasons. I don't know if that's enough to put him higher. Jonathan Brooks.
D.
Yeah, he would be a D to F. But I think
D for right now.
he was the first off the board. I'll give him some credit for that. Some people are a lot higher on him. I'm whelmed. That's it by him. Josh Jacobs. A tier.
A tier?
He had an underwhelming season last year, but he has had seasons where he's carried the Raiders.
Yeah.
Which says a lot. Mm-hmm. I think given the right, if he's given the ball correctly in Green Bay, he could be a top 5 running back this year. Fantasy just and in general. Put him up at A. Kenneth Walker. Oh. He's also someone I would argue is like an A tier because I really like him. And
he hasn't done much recently, has he?
This last year, his production dipped a little bit, but that's also because he split snaps with Zach Charbonnet.
That's true. That's what it was.
And also the Seattle offense was kind of underwhelming.
It was Pete Carroll's last year.
There's
a reason for that.
Things with their offensive coordinator.
I'm gonna argue with a B right now, mostly because of how last year ended up. Just split snaps, and then the offense was underwhelming. But
yeah, with people there, but I want him. I'm arguing for him in A, but I can settle for B. Kyron Williams.
He's an interesting case. It's like I said, there's a few running backs where I don't really watch. He's one of them. I know he's pretty decent. He's been consistent across the board, especially when a couple of the other running backs got injured at the Rams. So I don't know.
I kind of want to put him in C, and I mean he did well
with the guys that are there. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, we're gonna. This one's also. Oh,
Najee Harris.
Yeah, this one is.
Najee is a B tier for me right now.
Really?
Yes.
Because again, he was someone coming out of college. I was like, he's exciting. He's gonna be really good. He's kind of been underwhelming though.
He hasn't been what he was hyped up to be.
Like there are some people that will put Jalen Warren over Najee Harris because he's just, which makes it really hard for me to put Najee up to a B, because it's like he's been given the starting job. But
so you believe Warren is better than Najee right now?
I think Najee's ceiling is higher, but he hasn't played up to it, and part of it is also the Steelers have had really bad O-lines.
And Matt Canada.
Matt
Canada was part of the reason why they didn't really get their ball running for a while.
But Jalen Warren also still somehow got more going, I feel like, than Najee did. So I feel like they could be both C.
Do you think I think Najee will be slightly below Warren.
Yeah, I think throwing them both in C is fair.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, he belongs in C as of the current structure of the tier list. This isn't final. Don't come out of our throats quite yet. Nick Chubb, this is the one I'm going to argue for A, at the very least.
Oh, absolutely, very least. It's how serious is his injury, and if he can come back at even 80-85%
of what he was, he's still a great running back.
80-85%. Pre-injury, he was an S tier.
Yeah, pre-injury, he was great.
So it's just like, do you knock him down? Because he's also been healthy. I think that's like his only injury he's really suffered.
He's been pretty healthy for his entire career, I think.
So how much do you knock him down from his base was S tier? How much do you knock him down for that injury? Because
very high A.
Okay, that's fair.
Chubb is amazing.
He's.
I will not argue anything lower than an A, because I will argue that he is anything A or above, because I've watched him. I've watched all those Browns games, especially the playoff game against the Steelers and everything. He was running all over them.
He's been like their offense.
Like, he's the offense, or at least the core of it.
Yeah.
Gets them going.
That's why it's surprising they somehow made the playoffs last year, because it was like,
Without him, it's
even
kind
without Nick Chubb.
it was a miracle how they got there.
Rashad White, C or D? He's a good receiving back, and I will give him that.
But that doesn't always translate to a good running back.
He's not super impressive in the run game.
No, he's
Now,
not.
If he were to be a complement to like a strict running back, I think he could make a 1-2 combo really good. And that's like the thing is you could have two C-tier running backs, but you could have that could make you the best running back tandem in the league.
Yeah.
If it fills out right. I don't think like as a standalone running back.
No.
C or D,
Low C or high D?
I look at the people in D and I'm like, he's as a receiving back, he should be higher than that. But then I look at people at C and I'm like, as a running back, I don't think he should be there either.
I'm going to say high D.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't belong in that threshold of C right now. At least right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I want to see him run more.
Mostert.
God, he's so fast. He was so consistent. He
Great at the 49ers.
He was great last year. He
was great
broke
at
the Dolphins rushing touchdown record.
Mm-hmm.
He's great. He's old, and he's on his way out the door. But he fits the scheme so well. Did so well while Achane was out. Like,
he fits the category of B that we have right now.
that's fair. My concern with him is a lot of it is age, and also his entire game is he go fast.
He's
so fast.
I think right now a low B is pretty suffice for him. Like we said, we can move things around. He's one of those guys where I've just liked watching because he's just very consistent. I like his speed. Obviously, the record he broke this last season. So I hold him in high regard. So that's just me. And I also wanted to see him succeed, but he hasn't gotten that quite yet. Stevenson, D.
Yeah, I don't.
No, no, he's not a great running back.
Oh no, that I'm not saying he is. He was one. He got a little bit of hype, and I was like, I mean,
I can see it, but he just never flourished.
It's just the Patriots' offense. I'm wondering if he goes lower.
You think it's an F tier?
I mean, maybe he wasn't impressive last year. He had like one good year, again, with a Bill Belichick offense. Doesn't say a lot. They tend to do pretty well running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like...
Do you want to put him in F?
I'll put him in D. I think someone will move to F. But I feel like we need to...
We'll shuffle.
There'll be actual shuffling this time. Saquon Barkley. A to S.
One...
He's carried the Giants organization.
Yeah, I was going to say, he might be the other one who's in an S right now.
I'm curious to see how he does in Philadelphia. Eagles. But, God, if he's good as he was in New York... The Eagles are going to be so scared.
They're
gone. Yeah, I'll put him up in S. He's especially if we're throwing any sort of history into it. He's one of my favorites to watch.
Mm-hmm. Penn State, everything. Yeah.
Them quads.
Rose Bowl. That's all I remember. Tony Pollard. One of the guys I was underwhelmed by. He was not that great.
Like a year
he got
ago?
the job. He got the job done, but he wasn't super great.
A year ago, he might have been like a high B, but once he was thrown out there as a running back one, I'm kind of thinking a C.
Yeah, I was gonna say a C.
and not even like maybe like a low C because he just
He
by
hasn't
himself,
he hasn't developed into the running back that the Cowboys have hoped for. He had potential. He just isn't the starter.
He's a
He's
1-2 punch guy.
Yeah, he's the guy from in the backseat, just kind of.
He's the flashy guy you're like when you throw to when you need like a big play.
Yes.
But he's not your consistent guy.
No.
On the other hand, Travis Etienne, I did not think he was going to develop the way he did. He has actually turned out to be a pretty good running back. I won't say A tier.
No, he surprised me. I will say B tier for this guy.
I will say B tier because when the Jaguars were like, oh, we're gonna get Trevor and his buddy Travis, and I was like, that's interesting.
It was a weird because I saw that and I was like, this is gonna be a weird quarterback running back duo, but it worked out.
Because my concern with him was I was like, oh, he's a really good receiving back, but like, can he actually
run the ball? He can run the ball.
He's run the ball pretty well. So that was good for them. Trey Benson.
He's.
I just, like, I don't have any high expectations. He's the running back out of Florida State, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel bad putting him in F, but also like the only reason I feel like Jonathan Brooks is in D is because he was taken high and was like highly regarded. Benson kind of was like, and I don't see much room for him to go anywhere.
Please prove us wrong. I like seeing running backs do really well.
Yeah, and I don't dislike you for any reason. I just don't. You weren't. I wasn't excited by him going into the draft, and he's not going into a situation to really where I think he will flourish, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last guy on this list, Zach Moss, who is now the RB1-ish for the Bengals.
Ish.
He's going to be a 1-2 with Chase Brown, who isn't on this list. What do we think of Zach Moss? He had some games where he looked really good. He looked like a replacement for Jonathan Taylor, and then
there were other games where it was like, what is this guy doing?
And the Colts, I feel like, tend to make their running backs look good, which is why I'm kind of like hesitant to put him up. In my head, he's always kind of been like a C tier.
Yeah, I was gonna say C tier because he's a running back where he was really good behind Taylor. And then once Taylor was injured, he got thrown out there, did well for a bit, but then once the pressure got mounted onto him, he kind of regressed a little bit. So that's where I would put him.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
For right now.
Again, like C-tier running backs can still have...
they're still decent. They're just not...
Yeah, and they can still perform really well.
They're not the guy that you would go for.
Pollard had a good year,
Yeah.
Bijan's in there currently. Achan's in there. Like, they're all... Like, they're good running backs.
Yeah.
They're not quite like B tier where it's like they could be a workhorse. Maybe. But, like... I don't know. I feel like they're just... With Tony Pollard in there, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so I sense a shuffling in the midst. I want to move Aaron Jones up.
Okay, I can agree on that one.
I feel like that's fair. Let's see. Who do we want to move? Do we want to move any of the D's down to an F? I kind of want to move Zeke down to an F.
Please.
Because that's like...
Zeke is no.
And then, for some reason, Brian Robinson doesn't feel like he fits in C. But I could also leave him in C. I just don't know.
Yeah, now I'm looking up at this. Robinson and Moss don't really fit with these guys, if I want to be completely honest.
Interesting. I could see Robinson dropping down because he hasn't been... He's been a running back one, but he hasn't been like super... spectacular.
No.
Moss, I think he kind of fits just in the same realm of like Kyron Williams and Tony Pollard
Okay.
and like Jalen Warren. Robinson, I could see dropping down, and I still think he like could advocate for a running back one, but he's just I don't know.
We'll see this next season.
Do you want to leave him or do you want to move him?
I want to move him down to a D.
Right.
Although I will say maybe we get another guy up to S.
That's what I was thinking. That was going to be my last thing is do we want to move anyone up to S? The advocates I will make, I see two guys.
Which are?
Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry.
Those were the two I was looking at.
Cool.
I think I would prefer Chubb though because one injury. But then again, there's Henry where he's been consistent for 6 years for 1,000 yards.
He also only one injury.
And also one injury. Chubb has always been the powerhouse of that team. Same with Henry with the Titans. So we
could move both up.
We could move both up.
The argument with I can move Chubb up pretty easily, because the only thing that would hold him back is an injury.
Henry's older. Yeah, that's the thing.
He's also Derrick Henry, and he strikes me as the guy who's just I don't give a damn.
I don't care how old I am. I'll just go.
And I would be fine with him as an A. I'd also be fine with him as an S. And this is also me being as a Titan, that's where he was, but also how much better is he going to do this year on the Ravens than he was compared to last year on the Titans, which was a rough offense.
Yes.
To say
the least, yes. I want to say I think Chubb should be the one to go up.
Yeah, I moved Chubb up. It's a question of both.
I don't think Henry should go up because of his age. I think that's the only thing that's keeping him back.
I think if he is, I think Henry,
if he does really well this next season, then he's back up in S.
But either way, final tier list final look
at the
tier list for running backs.
I got nothing. Yeah, I like it.
I think this is a good list. I think this is our best list.
The ones that we've made, yes.
Can't wait for everyone to disagree. And
I think most people would actually agree with this list. This is one of those things where I think most people would agree with because, like I said, we all have our opinions in top 5, top 10s. But generally, the people we have up at the top 10, most people would say, yes, they are top 10 running backs and they can be arranged in any way. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not like you get some guy saying Jalen Warren's the number 1 running back in the league right now. You don't have those guys. I mean, maybe a couple, but
no, I'm excited to see Steelers and Cowboys fans get upset. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed our running back tier list. We'll be back again soon, wrapping up tier lists. I think we're just gonna finish it out with tight ends.
Yeah, something like that.
And then we'll go on to a little more engaging content. But let us know which picks are controversial, which ones you disagree with, which ones you hate. Tell us about it. Comments, hit us up. But yep. In the meantime, thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.
See you.